Buying a rare hypercar at a fraction of its actual value sounds like the deal of a lifetime, but in reality, it can be the start of a massive financial and legal nightmare. The brothers from the Goon Squad channel decided to risk it all, putting their money on the line in a fierce public auction. They ended up winning the queen of the track, a McLaren Senna, for just $352,000. That number might sound astronomical, but when you realize this engineering masterpiece easily clears well over $1 million on the market, you immediately understand the sheer madness of the deal. The excitement didn't stop there. As soon as the auction closed and before the car's wheels even touched the ground, the brothers received a tempting cash offer to flip it exactly as it sat, destroyed, for $500,000. Turning down that quick cash was a borderline insane decision, but the highly exclusive details of this specific build made keeping it a gamble they couldn't pass up. This isn't just any regular McLaren. It is chassis number 10 out of only 500 units ever produced worldwide, meaning its value is bound to skyrocket the moment it roars back to life. However, the euphoria of the deal quickly evaporated the second the transport truck arrived carrying the crushed British beast. The first close look at the car exposed the true scale of the catastrophe hiding beneath its sleek carbon fiber skin. The front end was completely obliterated, looking as though it slammed into a concrete wall at extreme speeds, while the sides and rear remained deceptively intact. As soon as the wash process began to diagnose the damage, shocking secrets started bleeding through the aggressive paint job. The car's outer shell is built entirely from ultra-lightweight carbon fiber to protect it and maximize its aerodynamics. The massive rear wing alone is designed to withstand up to 800 kilograms of downforce. But the dark side of carbon fiber is its nearly impossible repair and maintenance cost. The biggest blow landed when the team discovered that the engine cover had been completely stolen during transport or at the auction yard. Worse yet, the fuse box and ECU were left dangling in midair, ripped straight from their mounts. When they contacted the dealership to price out damaged parts like the door vanes that are only sold with the entire assembly, they were shocked to find a single door costs over $120,000. These insane prices meant relying on original factory parts would be absolute financial suicide for the project, and they needed to find a workaround fast. Stepping into the depths of the interior revealed that entire shattered suspension components had punctured through the cabin, confirming the tub had suffered massive structural damage. Lifting the car to inspect the underside brought the ultimate disaster to light. The front subframe was severely twisted and cracked, pushing its way into the cockpit. From an engineering standpoint, repairing this part with traditional welding is completely out of question due to safety risks and its direct impact on a hypercar's balance. Yet right in the thick of this hopelessness, an unexpected glimmer of hope completely shifted the course of the build. During a meticulous inspection, the team discovered that the McLaren Senna's front subframe is virtually identical to the one found on the much cheaper and more common McLaren 720S, save for a few minor tweaks. This discovery was an absolute gold mine. Suddenly, replacement parts were readily available online instead of waiting months for dealership back orders at astronomical rates. The brothers successfully tracked down a used front and rear subframe along with identical cooling lines on eBay for a mere $300 per pipe, kicking off a full-scale teardown to salvage whatever they could. A complex surgical process began to strip the chassis bare of all the ruined and redundant parts to get to the core of the naked tub. The team pulled the fenders, cleared out what was left of the front trunk assembly, and disconnected the intricate wiring harness from the ECU. The damage grew more evident with every piece removed. The right side suspension was completely dead, and the carbon fiber wheels had suffered lethal cracks, stripping them of their integrity and safety at high speeds. The work then migrated to the rear, where they ripped out the mesh grills, the heavily cracked left fender, and the massive rear wing with its complicated hydraulic hinges, eventually pulling the rear bumper and diffuser as a single unit. Nothing was left untouched. The complex cooling system was fully drained, its hoses disconnected, and its radiators, which surprisingly contained carbon fiber components themselves, were removed. With the rear space entirely cleared out, the team unbolted and dropped the legendary engine along with its transmission onto specialized dollies. The engine, despite its compact footprint, is a twin-turbo V8 monster pumping out over 800 horsepower. Once it was out, the bare chassis stood ready for the most complex phase of the entire rebuild. With new carbon fiber structural pieces arriving, including the roof and front hood assembly, the team faced a new challenge, stripping old paint and sanding the parts with extreme care to avoid eating into the delicate weave layers. The new cabin section went into the spray booth, but instead of picking a traditional color, they opted for 3 coats of clear gloss to leave the gorgeous carbon fiber texture exposed and raw. Meanwhile, a specialist in carbon fiber composite repair arrived at the shop armed with highly advanced chemical compounds to fix the deep cracks in the main tub. This type of restoration is one of the most precise and expensive engineering processes in the automotive world, requiring cutting away damaged sections with mathematical precision and injecting structural epoxy resins. To ensure the layers bonded flawlessly and mirrored factory-level strength, the expert used a high-pressure vacuum bagging technique, utilizing specialized bags capable of withstanding a massive 1,400 kilograms of atmospheric pressure via vacuum pumps. This intricate process alone took 5 days of continuous labor just to lay down 10 new layers of carbon weave, double the thickness the factory uses, guaranteeing absolute structural rigidity for the car. Once the structural composite repairs wrapped up, high-ticket shipments started flooding into the shop to kick off the true reassembly phase. The new parts, which included fresh shocks, ruined suspension links, and a steering rack, brought an initial bill of $50,000. An additional shock came when ordering the complete wiring harness directly from McLaren, which cost a staggering $14,000 on its own due to the insane complexity of this model's electronics. Wasting no time, the team began laying out the wires, plugging in sensitive sensors, and mounting the fuse boxes exactly where they belonged. The aluminum subframe sourced from the 720S bolted up flawlessly without requiring any heavy modifications, followed by dropping the fuel tank and its thermal heat shields back into position. With the chassis prepped, the defining moment arrived, lowering the body back onto the twin-turbo V8 powertrain and hooking up the complex hydraulic lines for the brakes and active suspension. The exterior skin started finding its place piece by piece, from hanging the iconic dihedral doors with their see-through glass inserts on the roof and sides to mounting the rear quarters and front hood. The aggressive, terrifying silhouette of the British monster began taking shape for the first time since the wreck. But piecing together the remaining components of the interior proved to be a completely different kind of engineering puzzle. Reaching the dense wiring bundles tucked behind the dashboard forced the team to pull the front windshield entirely to ensure precise routing. After hours of grueling effort, the team added a custom creative touch by wrapping sections of the dash in premium Alcantara, installing the minimalist center console, the ultra-lightweight racing buckets, and the harness restraints before putting the rear carbon fiber trim panels back in. Every part they needed was cannibalized from the old car, including unbolting the internal dome light housing and structural roof liners to fit into the new build. A brand new sports steering wheel arrived with a highly aggressive track-focused aesthetic, which